So there was a point 3 weeks ago, right, after Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez 2, where we had zero action around any title. Absolutely nothing going on in any title picture whatsoever. Nothing announced. That has finally changed. We have a couple of divisions to talk about towards the top end. One with an absolute, a definitive title fight already planned, already scheduled, already announced. And then one, there's a bit of F, buts and maybes, but I think we know which way it's going to go. We need to debunk some bullshit and get into the actual meat of many matters. So here we go. We're going to start with middleweight because we already know what's going on with flyweight. We'll come to that at the end. Let's deal with a bit of nonsense first, actually. Now, I can't remember what day this came out, okay? This video's being recorded and put out on a Monday. So thankfully, I can just say at some point last week, and that just covers all the bases. But it was put out there on Twitter that Khamzat was going to fight Jiří Procházka for a vacant light heavyweight belt. And the source was just, trust me, bro, I got this. Like, I know what's up. That is just the most ridiculous thing ever. And some people, like, ran with it and believed that. Like, I don't fully understand how that could be announced when we know Pereira hasn't vacated the belt. Dana White wants Khamzat to stay at middleweight. He doesn't want a Pereira Chimiev fight. I don't really get that one or where that came from or why the fuck people believed it. But whilst we're talking about Khamzat versus Jiří and how that is not happening anytime soon, we can just go ahead and debunk the idea that Khamzat is going to face Pereira either. Like, I don't get this. I know that this is the fight that Khamzat's asking for, like, against Pereira. And look, would I like to see both of these fights? Do I think Khamzat versus Jiří's interesting? Do I think Khamzat versus Pereira is interesting? Yes, I would like to see both of them. But what I would like to see more than that is a new champion defend his belt once. At least, I mean, I'm saying once as in do the fucking bare minimum here. Like, we can't just keep normalising a champion moving up. Like, having not defended the belt once and then saying, oh, well, I've cleared out the division already. And they have, like, no. Like, there's actually a line of contenders. There's multiple contenders at middleweight. We're going to get to a couple of them here. First of all, as an aside, I'll throw this in here about Pereira. We finally have some breakthrough with Dana White, who says that he's willing to run with what does Pereira want to do? Okay, we can do that. We might actually finally get to see him at heavyweight, which Dana has been so resistant to up until now. But, I mean, it's the clear move, to be honest. I think he beats Cyril Gane. I think he takes that belt. And that's somebody who's actually ran through the top contenders in a division and has earned the right to then move up. You see how this works, right? Besides the fact Khamzat has not defended the belt, hasn't even really ran through all of middleweight and is still trying to move up, Pereira's not actually going to be there. So if it's not even about the light heavyweight belt that he wants and it's just about the fight with Pereira's moving up another division anyway, so the fight's not even there anymore. And I wouldn't even give him a shot at light heavyweight either. I mean, defend the belt. You already moved up from welterweight. You're now at middleweight. You have a lot of other fighters here that you haven't faced. Let's just, again, work through this now and worry about light heavyweight after. Let's get to the middleweight contenders now. I would say poor Imavov here, but I don't actually fucking like Imavov. He is a cheating bastard who looks to eye-poke his opponents at every turn, like Baralho, Adesanya. I mean, we can keep going here, but that's just his last 2 fights. One via eye-poke, so I do not like Imavov. And I'm not even... I used to be a fan of Khamzat. See when he would pick guys up, walk them across the cage and just choke them, right? Or just ground and pound them until like they just couldn't take it anymore and the ref had to jump in. That is great. Love that from Khamzat. It's weird because Islam's sort of the same. See, after their last fights, I've just completely fucking shifted my entire perception of them as a fighter, literally based off of one performance. And I don't like that I've done that, but the thought of watching Imavov versus Khamzat, like, just fucking matter and antimatter coming together. I don't even see when you get fights like that and you don't give a shit about either guy, like, it just takes all the hype out of the main event for me. I'm just, the thought of it, no, I did not want to see it. So thank God Sean Strickland, I had him picked to beat Hernandez. I had the prediction video where I ran through a bunch of the main events, or the upcoming events. I picked Strickland to win. I thought he would get it done by decision. He is the king of the decision. I did not expect him to get it done like that. And I know myself, along with everybody else, makes fun of the jab and teep, but he's pretty fucking good at it. And like, that's why he's got so many wins. But a performance like that against Hernandez, which is just great, you love to watch it. The main event really delivered. Well done to Strickland. He had a nice post-fight speech as well. But now it's almost as though, okay, you get rewarded with a title shot, which is now a punishment because you now need to get just mauled, or what once upon a time would have been a mauling from Khamzat. You're now going to get picked up, dunked, and he's just going to keep you in crucifix. See what one fight can do to the perception of a fighter. Like, he hadn't done that before, and he chose to do it there, and now it's all that I can think about. But this is where, I mean, Imavov and Strickland, I feel as though you do need to cheat to beat Khamzat, which is why I think Imavov might, I mean, look, they're both going to get beat, but at least if he's eye-poking and trying to cheat, he stands a better chance. I just don't see Strickland being able to beat Khamzat, but I'm much more interested in that matchup, in that fight, and I think UFC is as well. I think, as much as we can laugh and joke that Paramount doesn't like Strickland versus Khamzat will do it a lot better for them in terms of numbers, as opposed to Imavov versus Chimiev. So I don't think anybody's really too disappointed about that, despite what people may think. Am I more excited to see Strickland versus Khamzat? Yes. Do I think Strickland's going to win? No, I don't. But I don't think there's a whole lot of middleweights that would beat Khamzat. I think they could bring an AK-47 to the octagon, and I would still have Khamzat as a favourite. But look, that's it. At least there's some movement in middleweight, and Strickland's going to get that shot over Mavov. Moving on to flyweight. Now, it was announced Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira in Miami, I think, for UFC 327. So we'll just start there. I know that Josh Van wanted to fight Manel Cap. I prefer the Taira fight, to be honest with you. I thought the idea was to have this fight in Japan, but they might be looking at Horiguchi right now and thinking, you know what, we might have an opening for him later if we want to go to Japan. But right now, 327 in Miami. Look, I like this. Joshua Van, he obviously took no damage in his fight against Pantoja and is willing to stay active, which I appreciate and respect so much as a champion. And I know that he's obviously getting paid a lot more for his title defences, so he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart, let's remember. But a lot of champions take the belt and then just sit out for a long time. I'm looking at Ilya and I'm looking at Khamzat. You know, they're just the two champions just now that I think of. And the thing is, they could have many defences. Like, they are good enough to defend that belt. They just choose not to, just choose to fight once a year, which is, you know, you do what you want. But Joshua Van here, Tatsuro Taira, I think he'll win. I think he will get his defence. But this has me worried for Pantoja, because how long is he supposed to be out? How bad is this elbow injury going to be? Like, word coming out after the fight was, look, it's not as bad as you think. He doesn't need surgery. And then it broke that, well, he might come back towards the end of 2026. Would you not just be better getting the surgery and coming back faster? Like, if that's the good scenario, that you don't need surgery but you're going to be out for nearly a year, like, what the fuck is happening with this? But thankfully we have more than one contender here at flyweight. But it is a shame for Pantoja. I don't know, we don't even know if Joshua Van's going to be the champion when he comes back, so it's going to create an interesting title picture when he does eventually return. But when we're looking at Manel Kape, who was thought he was going to get the title shot after he killed Brandon Royval at the end of 2025, now with Taira getting the title shot, now I'm basing this off of other divisions, because if it was up to me, we could just leave Manel Kape out, we do the Taira Van fight, and then Kape can come in and face the winner of that, or, you know, even if it's competitive, I don't know if we would get a rematch, but Kape can come in and face the winner after that, and everything's fine. But we have this slight problem, or not even problem, it's a nice problem to have. The gooch is flying loose all over the place in flyweight right now. He called out for the champion after he won his last fight. I thought I wouldn't mind seeing Horiguchi and Van either. But now, looking at featherweight, and I made my point very clear that I thought Lerone Murphy should get the title fight first, and then Evloev can come back and get the fight after. See now, seeing as we're throwing these guys together to see who's going to fight Volkanovski next, I say we do the same here and do Kape versus Horiguchi in an eliminator, and the winner of that then fights Tatsuro Taira or Joshua Van, depending on who wins, at 327 in Miami. That's what I would have flyweight looking like. We're doing Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. That's fine by me. Let's then have Manel Kape versus Horiguchi underneath that. Winners face winners, losers face losers, all that good stuff. And then hopefully Pantoja can come back towards the end of the year as expected now and assert himself back in that title picture. And that is terrific. All will be well with the world. So middleweight's looking like Khamzat versus Strickland. No problem with that. All good. Imavov can sit out and face the winner, Khamzat. And Van versus Taira, Kape versus Horiguchi. That's us. And I'm so thankful to be sitting here talking about some action at the top of these divisions, around the title, because it's been rough. See, since coming back from the drought, you think, oh, you know what, 6 weeks off, that's terrible, but that'll be the worst of it. No, we get back to actual UFC action and the shit somehow gets worse, but it's fine. We're on the right path. We have some nice shit happening at the top of these divisions, which is all good with me. So comment your own thoughts on this. Let me know, what would you do at flyweight? Do you want to see Kape versus Horiguchi? Would you just leave Kape out and give him the shot after? Should Strickland leapfrog Imavov? I think he should. I think that is the consensus, to be fair. But let me know if you think otherwise. Like the video, subscribe for more. UFC... No, not UFC 12. The Ultimate will be out hopefully tomorrow. And yeah, subscribe, hit the notify bell to stay up to date for when that drops. Yeah, thank you very much. And I will see you all next time.